So here's a People from 1988, October 10th, 1988. And it says grooms for a Walton and a Radziwill, Racy Don Johnson, Wiley Sylvia Miles, and the cover story is about Bruce Springsteen's new love. So I guess I'll start with talking a little bit about Bruce Springsteen. To say he was popular in the mid 80s is an understatement. Born in the USA was just an incredibly popular song. And this made him like an A-lister in the music business. So you saw Bruce Springsteen everywhere. He was just a very, very, his face was on magazines all the time. So on the back, there's an ad for Merit Ultralights. And a pretty boring ad, in my opinion. This isn't what you think. This is just a very boring ad. I don't know. The magnet itself is pretty old, as you can see. It probably was in between a few books, and it kind of deformed it. But figured I'd flip through it, and if I came across anything that sparked a memory, I would tell some stories. For people who like to smoke, Benson Hedges, and it is a 4-panel ad for Benson Hedges cigarettes. Trying to make them sexy. Here's Ladies Speed Dry, and the classic exercise outfit of the 80s with the leg warmers. Morgan Fairchild, Making Dreams Come True for 50 Special Kids. Claude King, Barry Gibson, New Standards in Celeb Dirt. Lee Radziwill and Herb Ross, Hollywood High Society Say I Do. There's Princess Diana, of course, gracing the covers of magazines. Introducing microwave brownies from Betty Crocker. Microwave. And microwaves were relatively new at this point, too. We got our first microwave in 1983. We had to drive to Dallas or Fort Worth, and it was like that. It was a big thing. And then there was lots and lots of microwave this and microwave that, and I think microwave popcorn was the most enduring of all of these. But I think nowadays when you buy brownies, typically the best way to make them is in the oven. TNN, a brand new network, country music network for Patty Loveless, Ricky Van Shelton, Katie Lang, Lyle Lovett, Roger Miller, T. Graham Brown, Randy Travis, and Willie Nelson. Here is the old Compact Disc Club. Wow, in 1988, a compact disc. That was still pretty hard to get. This is through Time Life, or recommended by Time Life Books. Get 6 compact discs for the price of 1 with nothing more to buy ever, and take advantage of our instant half-price bonus plan. What do we have with Time Life here? We have Huey Lewis, Vivaldi, Bruce Hornsby, Randy Travis, Tchaikovsky, Whitesnake, Ziggy Marley, Strauss. A lot of classic here. Chicago, Itzhak Perlman, The Judds, Beach Boys, Endless Summer, Handel, Elvis. That looks like some kind of Nutcracker thing. More Dirty Dancing, Paul Winter, Horowitz in Moscow, Van Halen, Tracy Chapman, Whitney Houston, Richard Marx. So you could pick, you had 4 blanks, and you picked 4 out of this selection, and then rest of me these 4 C's, and then they would start sending them to you, and they would never stop. And after a while, you would just keep paying for them. It was a really clever way to get your money. Woolrich quality since 1830. Woolrich. I seem to remember that. To some children, this report card is a disaster. Today's children and teens often carry incredible amounts of stress brought on by great expectations, family arguments, serious family illness, even dating problems. Yeah, they're talking about the B+. What do you do after you make the best-selling office typewriters? Make them even better. Typewriters. Still used in the office. Look, it's Jamie Farr. And I'm not sure who the actress is. Mr. Coffee. Before we designed our new coffee makers, we considered how most people wake up each morning. I don't think that's how most people wake up. Leap of Faith. Ann Archer and the guy from Jurassic Park. Here's some season premieres. Unsolved Mysteries. Highway to Heaven. The Cosby Show, featuring the return of Lisa Bonet. A Different World. Enough Said. Sunny Spoon. A waste of Meryl Van Peebles' energy. They're just being kind of blunt here. Simon and Simon, an 8th season. 227. Shriek. Amen. Shrug. The Golden Girls, They Have a New Neighbor. See Empty Nest. West 57th, Oh No, It's Back. 60 Minutes, the 21st season. And The Magical World of Disney. Mickey moves from ABC to NBC. Unsolved Mysteries was this time in 1988. Yeah, we were watching that. That was one of our favorite shows. We watched The Cosby Show. Everyone watched The Cosby Show. Watched sometimes Simon and Simon, and I actually grew to love the Golden Girls years later. And I loved watching The Magical World of Disney when I was a kid. Let's read this real quick. R.I.P. Rest in peace. I hate to be the one to break the bad news, but the best night on television is dead. Yes, Thursday night on NBC is now a pathetic ghost of its former self. Remember the good old Thursdays when Bill Cosby was not as overexposed, as rich and as laughable as Donald Trump. When Family Ties was in its proper time slot and the world was in its proper orbit, that is, when Alex Keaton was an absurd parody of greed, not a role model for a nation, when Cheers celebrated sexual tension and that was safe, when Night Court was not a trinket in a game of time slot checkers, when Hill Street Blues was alive. Yes, those were the days, my friends. We hoped they'd never end, but now Cosby is a dog and A Different World is one sick puppy. Cheers is okay, but beginning to get old and just a little tired. Dear John is the new show of the night, and I'll give you the bad news below. And LA Law is fine, but it's keeping bad company. So Thursday's gone, and now every other night of this week is ruined with at least one junk show, Unsolved Mysteries, they called it a junk show, Hooperman, Designing Women, or with some lousy TV movie of the week. Which leads us to the next obituary. I'm afraid we soon will have to declare the TV movie dead. The evidence this week is overwhelming. 5 TV movies, each one diseased, overdone, or dorky. After languishing all summer, waiting and hoping for fresh programming, we finally get 2 brand new series and 5 new movies. And out of all of these shows, only one, count it, one, is worth watching. If TVs could cry, mine would short out. Wow. Who knew that that little thing written back then would resonate so much today in 2020? Dear John, that it seemed like the critics loved that show, but if I remember, people didn't really like it that much. We're not suggesting that you don't go out and buy a stand mixer and a food processor. We're just suggesting you only make one trip. I think I remember these too. Yeah, I remember this one. This was a kind of a popular game. Someone even this was often bought as gifts for people. It was like a commodities trading game. And I remember we played it, and I remember it bored me to death. You traded sugar and cotton and pork bellies and all that stuff. Here's the movies. Imagine John Lennon. Memories of Me. That's with Billy Crystal and Alan King. Big Time, Tougher Than Leather, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Night of the Living Duck, GMC. It's not just a truck anymore. It's not just a truck anymore. It's part of your life. Kind of like that ad. Sandy Duncan and Barney the dinosaur getting together with their younger accomplices in a backstage meeting. Lamb Chops sing-along. Cascade for virtually spotless dishes. Song Injustice for All by Metallica. The Rumor by Olivia Newton-John. Wool, Good Looks That Last. Glenn Frey. This was that Miami Vice time, and he was doing pretty good because he did a lot of Miami Vice songs. So that was something I always got for Christmas, Stetson, and I usually got it in a big gift box with a cologne and like a aftershave or a splash on lotion, and there'd be like a soap on a rope too. Cure All. John Wayne Week on Superstation TBS. Of all the men, of all the heroes, of all the stars, no one stands taller than the Duke. Turn to Superstation for an unprecedented series of John Wayne greats. Big Jake, the War Wagon and Hellfighters, Sons of Katie Elder and the Horse Soldiers, Rio Lobo and Rio Grande, The Undefeated and The Longest Day, The Searchers, and The Sands of Iwo Jima. The only movies in this list that I think were great were The Searchers, The Horse Soldiers, and I kind of liked The Longest Day, but the rest, and I liked Rio Grande. The rest of them were kind of like his B movies. Just Jockey. Clear-All conditioner. Nothing outlasts duration. Nothing. Well, something did, because I don't see duration on the shelves anymore. Condition styling. Some good examples of 80s hair. Styling mousse. Do they still use mousse today? It's like, it looked like shaving cream. Beefeater. Drumsticks. Those were great. When I was in school, you could get them for 25 cents at lunchtime. This was one of the most popular ones, and the other one was, of course, the push-ups, little creamsicles. Those were really great. Glorious by Gloria Vanderbilt. Dr. Scholl's. And back then, like, these shoe inserts were probably just like a thin piece of styrofoam. Nowadays, they have like gels and special memory foam and NASA materials and stuff. I mean, but back then, it was a piece of foam shaped like a foot. That's what you stuck in your shoe. You didn't have no memory foam. You didn't have no cooling gel. You didn't have no space station NASA high capacity gels or whatever. It was just foam. Just like mattresses were just springs and fabric. They weren't all of the pillow top whatever nonsense they are now, and none of us still are able to sleep. Extra sugar-free gum with NutraSweet. That was the new thing. They managed to convince everybody that Sweet and Low would give you cancer. So it was like this. Now we have 3, but back then we had 2 colors of 0 calorie sweetener. We had the pink or the blue. So everyone thought the pink gave you cancer, so everyone picked the blue. Now we got the pink, the blue, and the yellow. And I think now everyone picks the yellow. But I don't even know. They probably all do the same thing. A Guide to Living on Your Own by Betty Ashton. This is, with Permasoft, they'll notice your hair, not your perm. That's the beauty of Permasoft. The shampoo, conditioner, mousse, hairspray are specially formulated for permed hair, so your perm has plenty of softness and curl, looks natural, and isn't that why you got a perm in the first place? She looks like someone famous. It's Tom Hanks. What's he doing here? And they're talking about Jackie Mason. Holding Court 1970 with Tom Hanks and Kathleen Turner. So that's Jackie Mason, Tom Hanks, and Kathleen Turner. That's before he was like America's Dad. He was still making movies like Bachelor Party. Crest, because enamel is more precious than gold. Sly Stallone with Bodyguard shops for baubles in New York City. Let's see what's going on. Robert Redford met Michael Dukakis in Salt Lake City recently to volunteer his services to the Democratic presidential contenders campaign. The actor-director feels that the Ronald Reagan-George Bush administration is ignoring environmental problems. The Dukakis campaign advisors are deciding how he can best be used, said Redford's publicist. More political notes. Clint Eastwood made Edward Cox Day last week. At the New York Film Festival, where Clint introduced Bird, a movie he directed, an audience member asked the former mayor of Carmel, California, to run in New York's next mayoral election. Eastwood declined, saying, "You're on your own." A Game for the Aged. So these are some football players from 1938 playing 50 years later. That's cool. Yeah, of course, in 1938 was 49 years ago. So, and some change. It's hard to imagine. But when I was a little kid, or when I was a young adult in the 80s, there were people in the workforce who were born in the 1920s, still working. One of my earlier memories, when I was a real little kid, when I was in the feed, I was with my dad. We were picking up feed for our feed store in Texas, and we were in this. I can't remember where we were at because I was fairly young, but we were in some place where we bought feed, and there was an old farmer in there, and he was wearing overalls, and he was standing upright, and he had someone with him. He had glasses on, and he was filling out a ticket, and then he signed it, and the guy asked him what his birthday was, and he said March 16th, 1890, and I'm like, whoa. Hero, the National Hero Award. Heroes, contemporary comments. Let's see. Here's a good way to peg the 80s a little bit. Let's talk about the National Hero Awards for 1989, and this will give you an idea of what was important to people in the 80s. Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, the National Hero Awards nominating committee, Hank Aaron, Joyce Black, Ivan Lindell, Marley Matlin, Lisa Sliwa, Kathleen Sullivan, and Lynn Swan. And this is publicity for a cologne called Hero, but to promote their product, they're nominating heroes. So let's see how this goes on. Lifesavers and Crusaders, Robert Gale, MD, Harry Gaynor, Michael Gottlieb. He pioneered working with AIDS. Dith Pran, Robert Schornsteimer. Leaders: Cesar Chavez, Jesse Jackson, Nelson Mandela, Ronald Reagan. Sports: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jimmy Connors, Greg Louganis, Bob Whelan, Mookie Wilson. Business: Herb Goldsmith, Eugene Lang, Edward Renzi, Ralph Nader, Ted Turner. Music: Marvin Hamlet, Willie Nelson, Lou Rawls, Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder. Kids: Richard Belanger, Trevor Farrell, Jason Gaze, Rocky Lyons, Brent Meldrum. Arts and Entertainment: Michael Crawford, Jim Henson, Joseph Papp, George Plimpton, Oliver Stone. This is before JFK. Legendary: Walt Disney, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Babe Ruth, John Wayne. So, if you are alive today and watching this, you'll know that there are some names on there that definitely wouldn't make a list like that today. It was a different time. Star Treks. Jamie Lee Curtis in Blue Steel. Let's see. Princess Caroline. Jessica Hahn. What's the deal with Jessica Hahn? She was involved in some scandal. Oh yeah, she had a fling with some preacher or some evangelist, I think. I can't remember which one it was, but that seemed to happen a lot back then. Madonna. Jamie Smith Jackson and Michael Ontkean. He was on Twin Peaks. Right there. Louis Anderson. Jade Jagger. daughter of Mick and Bianca and Josh Astor. And there's Prince. Kids, True Blue, why don't you tie them? Side order facts, McDonald's. What is this? This is a little book. Next time you come into McDonald's, order up healthy helping of facts about the food on our menu. Our booklet, McDonald's Food: The Facts, offers complete information on vitamins and minerals, calories and cholesterol, full nutritional and ingredient disclosure from A to Z about every regular menu item. Oh, they didn't do that for very long, did they? Huh. I don't think they do that now either. That's interesting. The boss said she dressed like a bimbo, says Brenda Taylor, so now he can try on her lawsuit. Controversy. Maybe I wouldn't be as aggressive in a man-tailored business suit, says Taylor, showing off the look that fueled courtroom gossip. That's the controversy. The refreshist, Salem. Hold on a second. This is a cigarette ad. What's it have to do with taking a shower and squeezing a sponge? Because it's a menthol? Well, my advice to everyone watching this is if you don't smoke, don't do it. Don't start. Don't even try it one time. And there's a reason for saying that, too. I remember older people used to tell me that when I was a kid, and I used to be like, nah, I could try it one time. But the thing is, if you do manage to inhale it and enjoy it, there's a very good chance you'll get hooked on it. It's very, very addictive. So don't even try it one time. And menthols are even grosser. So I don't smoke, thank goodness. But just don't do it. It will do you in. It will not fail to hurt you. So just don't ever do it. Contacts. The Proprietor's Daughter, Lewis Ord, author of The Eagle. See, there's a book ad like this. I don't know if you see these. Maybe you do. Like for that 50 Shades of Grey and stuff. Let's see. Now you've got everything but the Jim Beam. You have ice, water, and a lime. So, and if you add Jim Beam whiskey to that, then you have an alcoholic drink. I'm going to drink some coffee here. Oh, that's so good. McIntosh, New England. Here's your card to order some more people. Amidst dark beauty and danger, Mark and Delia Owens fight to save Zambia's imperiled wildlife. There's usually like a little interesting article like this in here. Ooh, the universal remote. So it wouldn't have all those remotes on the coffee table. Very smart. A Magnavox. This was the CD player. It looks like a DVD player or a Blu-ray printout, but that's what the CD player looks like. Then they started getting the kinds of shuffled discs and stuff. These were expensive too. More than you could imagine. This was expensive. See, now your cell phone is your camera, but back then people paid $1,500 to carry one of these around and do something that wasn't even close to the quality that your iPhone can do today. It's the Smothers Brothers. If you don't know who they were, they had a show in the 60s and 70s, and they did a lot of records, like comedy records. They were like my parents' generation of comedian, but I still saw them a lot in the 80s. Cool and mild today. When Hollywood needs an egoless ham or a starring role, caterer Bonnie Belknap gets the call. Egoless ham or starring role, get it? That's a pun. And there's Earth Girls Are Easy, eating some of her catering. Jim Carrey, Jeff Goldblum, and Damon Wayans. What is this ad for? This is for Facets of New Fragrance. Oh, that's cool. I wonder if the smell would have been somewhere. I think you would open it up somewhere and there was a scent in here somewhere. Anita Roddick cleans up with cosmetics fit for a king or queen. Oh, the Body Shop. Does that still exist? There's Bath and Body Works. I don't know if the Body Shop still exists, but look, Princess Di went there. Big Checkers. Canadian Mist. Even fans whose Wolof is rusty find Senegalese star Youssou N'Dour dazzling on the Amnesty Tour. No drips, no drabs, Delta. Not the airline. There's a missing little dateline kind of thing here. Announcing a breakthrough of minor proportions. Another Smith Corona typewriter. A very 80s car, the Peugeot. Call and resume or reserve a room. Rock and roll is back. And this is part of that 50s revival that was going on in the 80s. In the 80s, the 50s was very popular. We liked to dress like it. We liked to listen to 50s music. And it was pretty strong at that time. Sylvia Miles. What's she in? Midnight Cowboy, Farewell My Lovely, Wall Street. The Popcorn's in the Kitchen. The movies are on CBS. Unholy Matrimony with Patrick Duffy. Jesse with Lee Remick. Leap of Faith with Ann Archer and the guy from Jurassic Park. Street of Dreams with Morgan Fairchild and Ben Masters. And Liberace starring Victor Garber. You may know him as the guy from Titanic who was the engineer who built the ship, I think. Kenyan John Malui tracks gorillas into a scary funnier jungle, Manhattan. Gorillas in the Mist. Never actually seen that. There's Sigourney Weaver. Vavoom by Matrix. Hair Essentials. More 80s here. Bavarian style green beans. Lee Radziwill weds director Herb Ross, and Hollywood throws rice at Jackie's place. Don Johnson races, but Babs makes the waves with a no-show. Tether for safety, Johnson brushed aside questions with danger in the sport. He was still Sonny Crockett at this point. Ivana Trump says her husband and Johnson, who stayed on the Trump Princess far left the night before the Atlantic City race, respect each other professionally. He's as good as there is, said one competitor. So Trump pops up a lot here. Trump wasn't, he was fairly well liked at this time. he was talking his board games and his books and everything, romancing the boss. Live on the Edge, the Army National Guard. I've done that. Let's see. The O stands for Oat Bran and Cheerios. Reflections on Rita. She knows an 11-letter word for senator. Reads the last page of a good book first. And her legs. Don't get me started. Soak Reflections. You can see they stole that joke from When Harry Met Sally. And I'm not sure, but that's so 80s right there. A quarter century after his great train robbery, Ronald Biggs isn't railing against life on a lamb. I remember seeing that kitty litter. And I used to think, what was Kenny Rogers doing on the kitty litter? But actually, that is Edward Lowe. I'm not sure who he is, but it looks like Kenny Rogers. Get your hands on a masterpiece. Mickey is 60 years old, which means Mickey is probably about 100 now. There's less to the other white meat than meets the eye. That does not look like a substantial dinner. Vice versa, starring Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage. The comedy for the kid in all of us. Cigarette ad. What is this? Neither sweet nor square. Iceland's sugar cubes make a Norse herd round the world. Make a Norse herd round the world. They really loved their puns back then. Arid extra dry. They're saying it's just like perfume. Worthington. Pontiac. I think one of my my second car was it was a Grand Am, but I'm not sure what year it was because I inherited it from my older brother. Since life isn't a one-way street, Vern Hill sellers decided that two hoods are better than one. Oh, that's weird. The stars come out by the limousine load to tour up 50 special kids. Morgan Fairchild, Michael Keaton, Goldie Hawn, Amy Irving, Michael J. Fox, Corey Haim, and his girlfriend, River Phoenix, Rob Lowe, Danny DeVito, Don Rickles, Rhea Perlman. In the 80s, you never would have known that how Michael J. Fox would have ended up, how Corey Haim would have ended up, and how River Phoenix would have ended up. I was particularly shocked with River Phoenix. We all thought he was like the straight and narrow. It was very shocking. I mean, he had the reputation for being like a health nut, and you know, just the farthest thing from someone who would ever drink or take drugs. Just do it. This is a Nike ad. And I'm trying to find the Nike swoosh in it. It's got to be somewhere. This ad could totally run today and it would fit right in. But do it right. Here's the Nike. Look at that stupid looking. The Air Birkdale. Look at that one. Oh my gosh. That is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen. Okay. It's like a loafer. That's stupid. Okay. It's decent. The high top. But that is so stupid. And that wraps it up. So, I hope you enjoyed this flip through and this trip back to the 80s. And, if you like my channel, give me a thumbs up. If you like the video, subscribe if you like the channel, and click the bell icon. Leave me a comment, and I will see you next time. Bye.